Let's get it.
Can we get it?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
All right, man. Let's get it. The Dojo Podcast, season 17, episode
13.
Back once again, Sans Mbali.
Yeah,
She's adulting.
She's adulting.
With adulting, top of the show. Shout out to the Patreon subscribers.
Let's go.
Shout out to the YouTube subscribers. If you're not a subscriber yet, do the right thing and get that juicy.
Yeah, the
You know,
juicy
you get
juice
that juicy.
is behind the paywall.
If you're tired of hearing Mbali's voice, I can catch the rest of this episode on. Just
Catch
subscribe,
that,
my guy.
yeah,
Just
catch
subscribe.
that
It's like,
juice.
what, $100 a month?
Yeah, it's $100, bro. Clip and that.
You can pay yourself out of hearing that.
Yeah, get clip.
It's $100 a month for, let me calculate it, 2, 4, 6, 8 hours worth of recording.
Why are you saying 8 hours?
So I'm saying if on average it's 2 hours after the 45 minutes cut off, right?
Oh, I got you.
And we record 4 times a month. It's 8 hours.
Yeah, it's 8 hours.
It's 8 hours worth
exclusive
of
content.
for $100.
Yeah, clip and that.
Value for money.
And it's good content.
We keep all the nice shit at the back there.
And home na tikara.
Yeah.
Mnati
Na tikara.
All that nice
That's why
shit.
se retsa ka bo mo re. Mona tona go.
Who keep it up? Gotta we wall out.
Somebody said on the latest one, bro, you guys gave Patreon content to the free subscribers.
Oh, what?
Because in the
Oh,
in
in the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, last week, yes.
Yeah.
That was such a Patreon content.
Yeah, that was Patreon.
That was
shit.
Patreon content.
Yeah, that was Patreon.
Sometimes it's not that orchestrated.
Yeah.
It's
We
organic.
Yeah.
You need to keep it at the back. You need to keep it at the back, man. Alright, man. Let's pay some bills, bro. Pay some bills. We back at Hercus.
But
We back at Hercus, man. Shout out to Hercus. Yeah.
Check them out. I think you guys already know what they're about.
Yeah.
But,
CBD products. If you're seeing this for the first time, you can get some coffee, weed infused, everything weed related. Yeah, man. Not that lejaja shit.
Yeah,
You know that weed that glimmers.
Yeah, so that's our home basically. Homies are hosting us.
Yeah, Hercus, man. Shout out to
Good.
Hercus.
Yeah,
Even used it today. Shout out to Scape Gear.
I spoke to the guys. Never answer about to share the stats.
Yeah.
Because they wanna see if we can promote something else.
Alright. If you wanna get the product, we have a connecting promo code. Dojo, DOGO in caps.
Yeah, DOJO.
Yeah.
They're giving you 10% off.
www.scapegear.co.za.
Yeah, man, for that smooth baby.
Premium milk grooming products you can get there.
Yeah, waterproof. You can use it in the shower.
Yeah.
In swim. And then what else?
And then today, this podcast is brought to you by...
Yeah.
I don't know, really, before we get to that. Lesotho.
Yes, Afro-ski, bro. Afro-ski.
I thought that's what you were about to talk about.
No, I was about to talk about the...
Oh, the whole... Okay, yeah, no, Afro-ski.
I think 27th to 29th July. It's a winter snow experience at Afro-ski in Lesotho.
Yeah.
We've got details. I think it's
It's there.
So you can actually buy the package on uzuri.co.za.
Yes. They have two
It'll
pickup
be the
points.
first thing you see when you
land on the page.
Uzuri Online, www.uzuronline.co.za.
Yeah,
You will
man.
find it'll be the first thing you see when you get onto the landing page. But I've also got the link in the
In the
description.
description. Okay.
Yeah, man. And snow is already falling in Lesotho. That
Is it
means-
already?
Yeah. This
can't
cold
wait.
front day that we just...
Oh, we had a cold front. Okay, I can't wait.
It was snowing in Lesotho.
Can't wait
So
to do that.
So yeah, Afro-ski, snow in Africa.
Yeah.
Okay, but fair too. They have two pickup points, one in Mafikeng, one in Monte Cassino. And then Rabaya. And then we're gonna go. Yeah, man. It's brought to you. It's brought to
Wanderlust
us. Wanderlust Travels, man. Shout outs to them for the Afro-ski experience.
Yeah, let's see how that goes.
Yeah, man. And then who do we got, Majid?
And then for this episode in particular, it's brought to you by
How do you even pronounce it?
FVCK.
Yeah.
FVCK.
FVCK lifestyle.
FVCK
lifestyle.
lifestyle.
Yeah.
Linda is the owner,
Yeah.
founder of the brand, but he'll tell us more about what it's all about.
Yeah.
So welcome, homie.
Thanks, Jess. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man.
Welcome, bro.
Yeah, man.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We here to just.
I'm actually rocking the
Yeah, you're rocking the bomber.
I'm
bomber
rocking the
jacket,
bomber from the homie.
Yeah, the bomber airborne. So what inspired the name? Because
The name.
obviously.
Okay. So just to correct Tabang there, yeah, I am the current managing director of the brand, but not the founder. So the business was founded in the year 2012 by an old high school mate of mine, Eli Dlamini, hence the Eli Lensley that you see there.
Leslie.
The name of the brand and the logo obviously initially came from a place of rebellion. He sketched those letters in Photoshop. He was good in graphic design, right? He used to also produce music as well. Back then, I used to be part of a group of aspiring rappers who did not make it at the cut. So our boy Eli used to produce some beats for us. And then on a random day, he made that logo. Like I said, out of rebellion, he took that logo, he printed it on a couple of vests and T-shirts, and started selling it. And people liked it.
Yeah.
And fast forward to today, here we are.
It's a fully fledged
As a
business.
fully fledged
Yeah,
brand, right?
100%,
So would you say that is the Kikaren, the ethos of the brand?
Basically, so like I said, initially started from a place of rebellion, but as the brand grew over the years, we started having we shifted in direction in terms of our market positioning. That acronym actually stands for Forget Violence, Create Kings. So as the brand grew, we started taking a more emotional stance in terms of how we position ourselves, right? So considering the plight of gender-based violence that we have in South Africa, any form of violence, discrimination, etc., as you guys know, we've got a colorful past in South Africa as well, due to colonialism, apartheid and the likes. We decided to take a firm stance in being against violence, all forms of violence, GBV, etc. So that's what the brand name stands for, Forget Violence, Create Kings.
Forget
Kings.
Forget violence, create kings.
Yeah,
Aye.
FVCK. Yeah.
Nah, got
Yeah.
you.
Ironically, violence creates kings.
That's a topic for debate. Yeah.
You don't find that the brand name sort of Kikaren, because when you first see it,
You think of that derogatory term.
you get shocked. Like
So
it's a bit of a shock.
100%. So
Yeah.
it's intentional. There's the brand name is there to evoke emotion, right? As a conversation starter. So people would be amazed at how many times I've made accidental sales from someone say, "Is that word?" I'm like, "No, it's not." I explain what it's about, and someone just buys on the spot.
And then you build
right.
it.
So
Yeah.
now shifting it back to the whole topic about being against violence and stuff like that. I actually explain it, what it means, what it stands for, and then someone has an emotional attachment to it. It has an emotional resonance to it.
And
maybe
reaction.
someone once had a niece or a nephew that was once violated in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah.
And when you buy a piece of our clothing, you actually become part of a movement.
Yeah, it's sort of like a
Right.
protest.
100%. So
Yeah.
that name and it being possibly mistaken for the derogatory term is there to evoke emotion and be a conversation starter.
No, I hear that.
Yeah.
I hear that, man. I
Yeah.
hear that.
Yeah.
So Ogare, which fashion style?
Yeah.
Are you guys more urban? Are you guys
Yeah,
more
so we urban. It's more of a lifestyle brand. So smart casual with a mix of street fashion, basically.
Yeah, because like typically, the people that would wear your clothes, like
Young people.
like demographic 18
100%
to 35.
to 35. It's young people, it's the youth. And then some of the older people that actually do support us is people who are parents, like I said, who literally want to contribute towards the cause. I said, maybe they've got some personal ties with some violence in their lives.
Sure.
Right, and they want to actually spearhead the message that we put across. But primarily we target the youth, so yeah, that's the type of style that we do. Street fashion with some smart casual.
Do you have some kind of a non-profit
Yeah.
activism
We do.
type of platform that obviously, like you were saying already,
Okay.
when somebody buys it, they might buy it because
Yes.
the
Yes.
good brand.
Yeah.
But have you created like maybe a buy product or platform?
Okay, not really a platform, but there's an NPO that we're currently talking to. There's something that we're planning to do for November this year. It's just that it's still in the works, so I can't really talk about it.
Okay.
But there's a lot of NPOs that come to us that we also approach to say, look, your mission statement is this, our mission statement is this, the synergies. Let's work together.
together.
Yeah,
Okay.
so there's that in the works as well.
Yeah. So, is it just men, or do you guys
It's
cater for women?
unisex. It's unisex. So we actually don't gender our garments.
Oh, word.
Yeah, we don't gender our garments. So traditionally, that bomber jacket that Tabang is wearing is
Yeah.
for men, but women wear it too.
Ah, nice,
Unless
okay.
it's something obvious like a skirt. But you know,
Yeah,
with the current climate of where the world is heading, you know, we LGBTQ friendly,
Friendly,
right?
yeah,
so
yeah.
we don't gender our clothes.
Alright,
It's
alright,
non-gendered.
alright. And what inspires the designs? Like, is there specific inspirations that you guys get?
So it
or-
depends on the collection that we're trying to do
Yeah.
at the time. So I've got a really, really talented guy who looks after product design. His name is Busiso. So for instance, with that bomber jacket, there's a new khaki collection that we actually dropped. That bomber jacket has
Yeah, and
and
this is it evokes like
100%, yes. So
You know
we
what I'm
wanted
saying?
to pay dues to the whole DKs movement and things like
Yeah.
that, you know, the classic vintage khaki look. So we offered that specific khaki collection. It has some pants that you can pair it with. It has a t-shirt.
Yeah,
So that is
like monochrome.
that is done well as well. So, but just to answer your question, Des, we do look at trends, what's happening in our field, our industry in terms of street fashion, and we sort of design our clothes in accordance to that.
Around that.
Yeah.
All right, and then because we've dabbled in some, you know, people have seen the work, bro. You know what I'm saying?
You seen our work.
You see our work, man. We dabble. We dabble, and as people who have dabbled, like we understand the challenges that come with trying to you know sell clothing.
business side of it.
Yeah, the business side of trying to sell clothing to people, like sourcing material, designers,
Design,
prints.
Yeah.
You know, what are some of the challenges you have experienced? You know, trying to get this brand out.
It's that's a lot of work, and I mean the fact that the Dojo does have merch that you guys push, you guys should know what it actually takes. So, firstly, we do our manufacturing strictly in South Africa, right? So everything is done from scratch in South Africa. Sourcing fabric. We do have a CMT supplier. CMT stands for cut, make, and trim. So that's the person that takes the fabric that you give to them.
Yeah.
They then cut it and sew it together
According to your design.
patterns. So you have to do something called a pattern, which is used for grading. Right. So patterns is good for sizing and stuff like that. Right. So for instance, someone who's a medium in the US is not a medium in South Africa.
Yes,
That's grading
yes.
and sizing, which is patterns. Right.
Yes.
So currently the challenges I'm facing is that all those different components are, I don't want to say outsourced, but I'm using different suppliers to do that. Got someone that does my patterns, and then once that's done, I then go source fabric, which is another wholesaler that I buy.
Yes.
Go to someone else, which is the CMT supplier, to actually make the clothes. And then
Yes,
there's another
yes.
CMT, there's another supplier as well to do the branding, right?
Yeah.
Depending on whatever branding we agreed on the specific garment. So all of that is quite time consuming. It's tedious. And sometimes it takes too long, you know. So some people would order stuff and they think I'm just sitting, not doing anything.
Yeah.
But there's so many issues that are outside of my control because I'm dependent and highly reliable on other people.
Yeah, because you know it's highly outsourced.
100%. So that's one of the biggest pain points that I've got in this business. So the
Yeah.
plan is to, you know, get everything in house,
Sure.
have a factory of my own. Where everything, I've got seamstress, tailors, everything is
On
done
your
in house.
payroll, isn't it?
Branding on my payroll, yeah, right. So
Yeah.
that's the biggest goal that I'm trying to work towards. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And how are you dealing with the? Because you know, in the South African context, textiles is a very competitive market, especially given the fact that our borders are open
Yeah.
to foreign goods,
Yeah.
especially
Bushin.
China.
Yeah.
you know,
Temu
there's a
and
lot of
Temu,
like, you know,
Temu.
low-cost garments that are flooding our market, and it makes it difficult for locally sourced.
Yeah.
Competitive.
To
Yeah.
compete at a price level.
How do you
Overcome that.
Yeah, so that's a very good question, Mo. So I mean, we do know that there's other brands of which, of course, I won't mention, that do use international suppliers to manufacture their stuff. So I think we wanted to be intentional with manufacturing everything in South Africa, even though it's a bit expensive. And we've now, you know, found ourselves in a situation where we had to take smaller margins, right? Because obviously manufacturing the side is costly, which will imply that you boost up your retail selling price, right?
Yeah.
But then you might find yourself pricing yourself out of the market.
Out the market.
Right, so we've had to sort of reduce those margins and then just sell on volume.
Yeah, because convincing South Africans to buy premium,
It's hard.
It's hard.
It's very hard,
especially if it's a brand that's not
That's not that
your
established.
your regular,
Yeah.
you know,
It's hard.
premium brands.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It's hard to convince someone to pay you, I don't know,
Premium
say
price,
maybe
yeah.
$800 for a T-shirt.
100%.
Yeah.
You know,
Which is a premium pricing.
Yeah.
but it actually costs you
Like
almost
600
that
bucks
much,
to
yeah.
make.
Just
That's-
make it.
Yeah.
You may have made an example with 800 rand, but that's sometimes that's what it usually costs me to
Yeah.
actually make something I sell for 900 rand.
like to
like
make the
800
T-shirt
rand.
the way that, you know, even
that quality.
how we would, like the conversation that we were having off mic earlier, that's how much that shirt would
100%.
cost.
100%. And then obviously if you go to China, it will cost you 200 rand or 100 rand a pop to make. And your margins are really, really healthy.
And also the thing is, like, I noticed, like, from a positioning point of view, it's difficult to sell premium because premium does not solve a pain point.
Yeah.
It's not a pain point.
Yeah.
Like, I see it even with food. So, like, for example, I'd be like, I want a premiumize, like, introduce it
Yeah.
instead of quarter,
Yes.
but I'm like thinking the pain point is
It's an affordability.
yeah. So they first have to address tlala.
Yes. First.
So which is why, like, you can't totally rid yourself of quarter, you know, because
gotta keep it
it
there.
takes care of the lights.
Yes.
Yes.
Pays the
Then
bills.
what you do, you may add on top
Yeah.
for that days that might come. On Olay,
Yeah, looking for something different.
Yeah.
But you almost can't ignore
Yeah.
quarter because the pain point is
Yeah.
And affordability.
you still gotta have that in your franchise. And affordability. Yeah.
But at the same time, you don't want to list the kota right next to the souffle on your menu.
Yeah.
Yes.
Exactly.
So sometimes you have
can
to
water
choose
it
You have to
down.
make a hard choice.
a hard choice.
Sit down.
which lane are you choosing.
Yeah, which lane are you choosing? And
Yeah.
that's a hard decision to make.
Yeah. Because sometimes it confuses the brand if are you luxury or are you not?
Yes,
Like,
yes,
where's
yes,
the line?
yes.
That's why you'll find that some luxury, in fact, almost all the luxury brands, you'll have like the high-end line
Yes.
with the you know, like intricate detailing.
Yes.
And then you get the printed T-shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of
that
the luxury
brand.
brands.
Yeah.
You know,
But you are still in the luxury
for those
lane.
that want to touch it,
Yeah.
you really can't get into the mainstream.
As an entry point.
Bring in the
As an entry point, yeah.
Entry point in yard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As an entry point.
Yeah. No. I get you. So I had one question in pilots, you know.
So let me ask a question.
Yeah.
It's
But
expensive, right? Like the business is expensive.
Yeah.
Are you guys self-funding it?
Yeah, everything is self-funded. We don't have an external investor or anything. So I'm actually grateful for the circle of friends and family that I've got. You know, I've relied on so many of my friends for loans and they've pulled through for me, you know, the support from my family, my own money, of course, my lady. I've got a really, really supportive and loving woman that supports me. So I don't have any funders or investors in the business. Everything is self-funded.
It's just you and your homie.
It's myself.
Or it's just
myself.
Oh, you bought it
Also
from your homie.
Homie, the founder is no longer involved in the brand, but he's got a part to play in the back end side. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm riding solo.
And then where can people find it?
Online at www.fvcklifestyle.co.za. We've got an online store, you can buy them. We've got some distribution agents as well that are on the website, so you can buy through them. You can buy through me as well. You can buy through WhatsApp at 071-766-312.
Alright.
When you say distribution agents, are these like retail stores or?
No. These are people that are authorized to sell our merch.
Okay.
Yeah.
You kind of give them a commission structure.
100%. That's
okay.
exactly what happens.
Have you guys been able to crack access to any shelves?
We're in some talks with some property guys.
Okay.
You know, the tricky thing is with fashion and where it's headed in South Africa, I think maybe I can even speak, you know, from a global standpoint in that there are a lot of businesses are going online, right? Especially where retailing fashion is concerned. However, we still want to offer that meeting point. So the customer that wants to hold, feel, and touch, and
yeah.
fit garments. I mean, I myself, I may be part of a brand, but I generally don't buy online. I travel to a store in this day and age. I want to fit, because you can have a size chart and stuff like that. No one is going to take out a measuring tape or a ruler to measure their torso.
Yeah,
that's the thing. It's the more advanced people that are used to buying online that will look at a size charts. You know, so you also want to offer that meeting point for other customers. So there's a couple of spots that we've got our eyes on in Braamfontein. Possibly, if all goes well, going to be opening a store there in September this year.
Yeah, own fully fledged store.
Fully fledged store.
Yeah, because a lot of people still want to go and touch and feel. Touch and feel the stuff.
And I suppose, like, sometimes there are some businesses where, even if it's not really for money purposes, you still want tangibility around the brand experience. You know, like, even though you can buy it online, but like I get you know, fee standards.
Yes,
you know,
sure.
Even if there's not a lot of work that happens
exactly.
there, you know, like, so you still need that.
And also people want to know where they can find you.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
I remember a friend of mine. We started a transport business, and there was a lady that wanted to utilize our services, and she was hell-bent in wanting to know where's our offices, especially when they give you so much money. People want to know where to find you. In case you do whatever, you know.
Yeah, people.
People want to find you, you know. So I understand that. So that's why I'm trying to at least bridge that gap.
Because the thing about, like, buying things solely from online, you rely on people reviews. So your website would need to have reviews. You know,
credibility.
Credibility. Keep on. Like, I wanna, like, for instance, like on Shein, if you wanna buy something on Shein, people who've bought the product will take a picture of it and post it in the reviews there.
It creates content.
Yeah. No. Actually, I can told this thing. How is this thing gonna look like?
Those pictures always look so
Yeah,
bad.
they're so dark, bro. So because then, you know, it gives you a certain level of comfort. Yeah, because you can't necessarily touch, you know, like, touch the clothes or So especially for a lot of businesses that are online. Reviews, man. Have reviews on the on the platform where people can put reviews, because
for validation.
For validation.
Do you guys make use of ambassadors as part of your marketing?
Yeah, we do. We've got some influencers lined up, not confirmed yet, but we want to take that approach as well. I think social media is very powerful, and I think people underestimate social media, especially for online businesses. I think if people can actually crack that, you can reach greater heights. So we do have some influencers that we trying to work with.
It's clothing is a very competitive market, man.
Very competitive.
I'm trying to think about, like, the well-known South African brands, like, and how long it took for them to get to
a long time.
to get to the
It takes a long time.
to the levels, you know what I'm saying? Like, Tlamopu,
I like
and
what,
it doesn't that seem daunting?
No, it's not. Well, for me specifically, it's not daunting, because I actually like what I do. I'm very much passionate in it. I wouldn't say I'm passionate about fashion. I'm just passionate about business and entrepreneurship. I just happen to find myself in the business of fashion. So for me, it doesn't feel like work.
It doesn't feel
like work. And you know, just to echo your point, there's with clothing, it's highly competitive because the barriers to entry are almost non-existent. Like, as we were saying off air, that anyone can wake up today, go on Alibaba and start a brand. Start selling. And that's the thing, that people just think because they've got dope designs, they'll hit it off.
Translate into business, né?
There's businesses, especially in clothing, especially when you look at the more upper echelon luxury ones that have really, really succeeded. They don't really have, you know, like, out of this world designs, but it's a myriad of factors. Consistency, the story that you're telling, you know, loyalty as well. People underestimate just how, like, having loyal customers that makes a brand. That makes a brand, right? You might not have the greatest designs, but if maybe people love your story, they've got an affinity to you as well. Maybe as the founder, they remember how you started. Then that's repeat business. Right?
You're right, because even if you look at Book Galaxy Boy, obviously it's another brand, but he's a type of guy that he started being clowned as if he's a knockoff. Because his designs were mimicking.
International brand.
But through the clowning, there was actually a market there.
That's what I'm saying. Yes. You find that there's a market.
You find that.
So you gotta ride that wave until you get to that point.
Exactly. And sometimes, like, I wanna, if you look at the brand in the lookable one, you know, I think for me, that was the first local brand that I started
get prominence.
You started supporting. You know, hey. You love the story. You love the people attached around it.
100%.
Yeah.
People support that.
Another thing that I wanna correct is that we bastardize or we minimize what we call a brand. Waking up tomorrow and buying a shirt and a logo, that's not a brand.
That's not a brand.
A brand is the entire value chain. Like knowing where to find you.
100%.
Knowing that when I buy, I've got confidence that if I have issue, you will refund me.
100%.
So that's why, for example, a brand has your website.
Yes.
You can sell something cheap like the next to we can't find the manufacturer. Because it's not a brand. And that's why brands
100%.
command a premium, because then you as a consumer, you feel you can trust, you feel like you can have recourse, you feel like you can have access to the product. So I think when people want to think about brands, it's so easy when somebody, I'm a brand, because sometimes you don't know what it takes to be a brand.
100%.
It takes you having, it's like even with a pod, like when you were saying, like people think they can just have a phone and record, they have a podcast. It's not really a podcast. With us, somebody knows that, and Tuesday somebody will cheek because you've created an expectation.
100%.
You've got a social bond.
100%.
Somebody expects that
100%.
you've taught me. You created something.
100%.
You've taught me how to consume it. You've taught me how to expect it, and when you fall short of that expectation, you are a brand.
100%.
No, definitely.
That's what a brand is.
I mean, before I even came here, I've been a loyal listener and viewer of the Dojo for years, right? And that is a brand, right? Give or take, I know Sunday when I open my YouTube pop episode, you know, I know there's other podcasts there, but I want the Dojo. And I think that's what I said to you as well, Tabang, that I mean, for instance, just a personal observation, how you guys compliment. There's a reason I watch the Dojo, you know. I look forward to Des's humor. I look forward to, you know, when the two of you are chopping it up, Tabang and Maurice, and things like that. So that's what a brand is. It's intangible, yet it's tangible at the same time. Something that you can hold, feel, and touch, but there's so much of it that is intangible.
It's a social contract.
It's a social construct as well.
Yeah. And it takes so much effort to build that connection with your consumer.
Getting mistakes, it's pivoting, it's iterating.
Exactly.
Taking advice here and there.
Like with 1,000 of them.
Who are you?
Yeah, who are you, dog?
That's who do you think you are?
You know what I'm saying? And I gotta wear this because, like, if I'm wearing the brand FVCK, you know, it's sort of like, especially like with stuff that you wear, it's like, it's your story is my story. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm a ambassador of Story Sao, what the brand represents. You know what I'm saying?
I think also
and it's hard to get people to buy into that concept.
Just to echo that, guys, I think what's really difficult about clothing, I'll make a cross example with Tabang and his food business. Food is not really a luxury. You need to eat. Well, yes, you can have magwenya, yes, you can have lobster, but it's food at the end of the day. With clothing, it's something that we do, number one, so that we don't walk around naked, obviously, right? However, clothes are primarily something that you buy for association. So that's the most difficult thing to actually get right, to get people to associate with your brand, right? At that level, where your association will have a knock-on effect. So that's what's tough, and that's what some other guys don't get when they wake up and go on Alibaba and start printing t-shirts.
Because it sort of taps into our human need to socialize
100%.
And to be accepted in groups.
100%.
So when 100%. You got the right credentials 100%. In the clothes,
via the garment,
via the garment that you
certain
wear,
circles you break in,
certain circles that you break in. You know what I'm saying? And it takes a while for you to convince.
Gangsters were formed around Lupa.
Machiavelli.
Rosmorda.
My brother had that when I was young. My older brother had Rosmorda.
Exactly.
Yes, I wanted that when I grew up. You know, so
and whatever was certain sex, but a certain
Yeah.
a tie.
Yeah,
dog.
yeah.
Man.
Nah, man, that's dope. That's dope. No, we
take-
just thought, man, it's nice to have another black man,
Yeah.
especially the business side of the brand, not
Yeah.
necessarily like
Yeah.
It's always nice to get those insights.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
And yeah, man, good luck on your business.
Thanks, James.
Thanks
Thank
for
you.
joining us.
Yeah.
And people support it.
Yeah.
I think you ifumane
Yes,
Yeah,
online.
just one more time. Yeah, just tell us where to find you.
Okay, so you can find us on www.fvcklifestyle.co.za. You can also buy our merch on WhatsApp at 071 7666 312.
Yeah, man.
And hopefully you'll be able to get it on Uzuru online too.
Yeah, we can talk about
Yeah.
about them with the folks.
Yeah.
Cool stuff.
Come again,
Thanks,
come plug it with the
But
whole
did I man
news there.
what do you plug?
Yeah, I'm going to Uzuri there.
It's kind of something.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
Nah,
man.
Thanks, Linda. Let's chop up the normal.
Yeah, the normal stuff, man. Hey.
Fashion.
Yeah. You know,
Fuck that nigga's political views. Fuck his mission.
because it's a big movie. Yeah, my nigga. Yes.
Fuck you.
Hey,
That's
dog.
my politician.
Dog. Alright, man. Quite an eventful week, politics-wise, man. The biggest, obviously, news story was something we've been discussing here over
The
some
build-up.
time. Yeah, the build-up to it. We touched upon it last week as well, and it finally happened.
Yeah.
Bafethu ba ile la US ba kopana le mfana Trump. You know, what a meeting, man. What a fucking meeting. Initial thoughts on it, because we know what went down. Ramaphosa and his delegates, Kopanele Trump and his people, and we sort of anticipated maybe something like Zelensky, but it didn't go down that way. But you know, not without
We use that as a benchmark.
as a benchmark, obviously. But it was notwithstanding its own little dramas and nuances and dynamics.
Yeah.
Initial thoughts after you saw that thing.
Now my initial thoughts were, you are right, was that our reference point was always that we were going to look whether it was going to be the extreme version.
Zelensky.
Yeah, Zelensky. And I think because of how emboldened the Afrikaners were, and Elon and Trump, and that we are also Africans, that they were going to actually even
worse.
So from that standpoint, I felt like it did not go
To that extent.
positively.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it didn't get there.
So that was just my initial thought on it. Or at least
The way.
because they've been very brazen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I thought they were, and even the stand that they pulled, quickly the world knew that was misinformation, and it was sort of arrested quickly. The video. And the picture.
Oh no, for sure.
But so it did not deliver the intention that they thought it would.
I have some like I wanna like Trump, and if you notice, like in the meeting, he was talking about he would identify certain news broadcasters or like I'm saying, or not a fake news here, give a fake news. Like it's very deliberate for his audience.
Yeah.
To certain questions, certain.
Yes, that are coming from the floor.
Yeah, and that come from those news agencies, right? So even if a lot of it were debunked, they are debunked by the medias that he
hates.
Yeah,
Or he already brainwashes
and for the people that Gagarin who ride with him, the point he makes still stands. The point he makes still
people
stands.
who are committed to ignorance.
Exactly. Your thoughts, Doc? Initial thoughts, like after watching that little thing, bro.
Initial thoughts.
Yeah. Like after Katawe Chega,
The optics. Maybe.
yeah, your initial gory things that so saying.
I think my initial thoughts are the same as what I communicated to you guys during the week.
Yeah.
Is that this was a demonstration of how we are not as we dogs that bark with no teeth. We were sunned there.
Yeah, heavy. There was heavy signing. There was heavy signing, bro. Heavy.
We were Sunday, and things could have gone a lot worse if we would have got in Gather posture, trying to debunk the things that Trump was saying on there. What did Tabang say? Tabang says, because if this thing had turned into a live debate or argument about this is not true, these are the sources that we have, the information that you're relying on is false, and so on, then it would have devolved into
they have to save face.
Yeah, it would have been a shit show.
Home turf.
So in order for this thing to have gone as well as it did, it was important that Cyril played
composure, be calm.
And eat certain things. Yeah, because he ate a lot.
Yeah. He ate a lot of shit.
Yeah, he ate a lot of shit, bro. And then
yeah, he ate a lot of shit.
Yeah, he ate a lot of shit and found out. And then you could see him. Like you could see him. You could see him, dog. You could see him.
And I was saying to somebody who, I think I was trying to give somebody a definition of management. I was like, okay, there was that topic, we already project managers, blah, blah, blah.
Okay,
on the TL, or they get paid a lot of money for that. So I was talking to somebody offline, and then, you know the thing about a president manages the country. Yeah? And the same way we look at our managers, where they make certain decisions, and you think, so stupid, or I could do better, or I could do this. Like, this guy is managing things that you have no line of sight of. And outside in, you think this is an easy job. Why do we even take the invite with Ntone? You are the same guy that when unemployment doubles, as a consequence of that, you are still going to go to the same guy.
Yeah.
So he has to manage this thing, and managing it may also look like, even though he had the right facts to rebuttal, he has to read the mood and the power balance in the people in the room. He is on the short side of the power balance. So while he has the tools, he just can't use them against his opponent.
Yeah.
The context favors Trump.
Yeah. Like, my initial thought was like, watching it was just disheartening, bro.
That man was hat in hand, bruh.
Yeah.
He was hat in hand, and I understand the whole rationale of taking Afrikaners there, prominent Afrikaners.
Yes, the golfers, Ernie Els.
It's Rupert, that guy, get?
Yeah, Rupert is the billionaire and leader. Yeah.
But and what's this guy, Steenhuisen?
Yeah, Steenhuisen.
So now, yo, I feel it's been a tough week, man.
It's a tough week.
Dog, it was disheartening, bro.
Because now, obviously, we're supposed to present a united front.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And try to convince these guys that what you're saying is happening in our country is not happening.
It's not happening.
But in true Afrikaner style, in true white man style, they use that as a platform to push some of their own agendas.
Yes.
Because why on earth,
yes,
in the same breath that you're talking about our problems with crime, okay, yes, crime affects everyone.
Everyone.
It's not a targeted
race-based thing.
It's not a race-based thing.
Yeah.
Crime affects everyone, right? Yeah. And then in the same breath and sentence, you're going to use that as an opportunity to plug Starlink.
Yeah.
But I found that so disgusting.
Yeah. And then he says the cops need it.
Yes.
Like, we need
No. In fact, it was deliberate. He was selling.
Yeah, that's what he's saying.
Yeah, so why can't you say we need technological AI capabilities
solutions
to provide better surveillance
for the police
and to bolster up our investigative efforts.
So pleasing.
Wow, Starlink.
Why is so pleasing?
He said, and looked at in the direction Elon when he said
that, yeah.
Man, like it just should go, man. Dog. I wonder if you want to change this thing, man. And the problem is that we don't have leaders who are very creative or, like capable of taking ideological stances in terms of what type of country they want to see in the future. If you look at what China has managed to do in the past 50 years,
for themselves,
those guys have been the underdogs
for a while before they became
for the longest time, right? But they took a hard stance.
They took a hard stance.
They took a hard stance and created a. I don't want to call it it's not a dictatorship. But it's a party-driven dictatorship.
It's a party-driven one.
You see, it's developmentally driven.
Yeah. It's not one person.
It's not a one man.
This is the direction
for the
we're going to
betterment
take
of the country.
It's a party.
They're like an ANC saying, okay, guys, we are going to outlaw every other political party. Right?
And cook.
The leader of this party is going to be democratically elected. Right?
But the agenda is set.
But the agenda is set.
We are going to accelerate economic development. We are going to accelerate job creation. We are going to be very hard on corruption.
And they're very hard.
Right?
Like billionaires disappear there.
Yes.
Billions disappear.
And these are some of the tactics that we're going to have to make use. We're going to have to trample on some human rights in order to.
That's the price we have to pay.
In order to achieve and realize our aspirations.
To cook the state.
Right? And there isn't one man that you can say is running. It's not a Putin-run government.
Putin. It's
a party-run government. So I would only hope that something like this serves as a lesson for them to go and think about, gents, we are too dependent on these people.
On what capital?
You see, what reforms or steps can we start taking now, even if you only realize these things 50 years down the line. You see, but then that's the other thing. They don't have that because they don't even have.
I think that was like before saying.
I'll always remember that saying when that lady was saying that. What great men plant trees
for the shade they will not sit.
The shade of what they will never sit.
Or enjoy the shade they will never enjoy.
Because it's not for you.
It's not for you.
That's why they would rather return money to the treasury as
But you have to lay the groundwork now. You have to lay the groundwork now.
And it's harder when you start.
But I don't think they have the way.
In fact, I think Ulisse, you hit it on the nail. That's why we always talk about how the manifesto of ANC, forget their theatrics and their execution. Nobody has ever questioned the manifesto. Because the manifesto it's progressive. Yeah, it's progressive. But what we are now doing is that instead of saying whoever it is that tries to destabilize us, the agenda remains the same. What we want to be strict on is you're not going to come as guys and change course. Or now what we do is that ANC, now this is Thabo Mbeki's ANC looks different. Mbeki's ANC, Mandela's ANC looks different. Zuma's ANC looks different. Ramaphosa's ANC looks different.
Let me ask the homie, what did you think about the evoking of Nelson Mandela's name all the fucking time in that meeting?
That man is working hard from his grave. I actually share most sentiments and yours as well, Days. I think it was a letdown. I don't want to use the word disgrace, but I think it was a letdown. And I agree with what you guys are saying, that our president actually took a lot of
shit
that he shouldn't have taken, right? And I think, yes, it was. I think maybe from what the delegation discussed was for the betterment of the bilateral exchange that they wanted to achieve by going there to ensure that we possibly don't get sanctioned by the US, right? But I think, like as you guys are saying, I think he lacked a bit of a backbone and that whole Starlink stuff. And I think what hurt the most is a day or two after that whole meeting at the Oval in the White House, the ANC was mentioning that they're considering relaxing laws for BP. That's how come it's done. What's so special about this company? And the thing is, I think what is of grave concern is the fact that the owner of Starlink has severed ties from South Africa so long ago. He does not consider himself South African.
In fact,
but
he campaigns the country.
What's his obsession with wanting to work here?
Dog, and we literally.
Everybody's asking themselves that question. What's his obsession with wanting to work here when he doesn't like the country that he's from?
I think that's a good. The thing about it is that if you look at geopolitics, especially in the Middle East, when you look at the trade routes, especially the shipping routes, right? People sometimes think that Elon Musk is interested in Starlink for commercial reasons. It's not for commercial reasons. It's for military reasons.
And intelligence. And,
Yeah,
and,
exactly, yeah.
and we've seen how he's used it.
Because he's not
Yeah.
necessarily going to come in cheap. And you've seen that they like to talk about how the speed and whatnot, but the infrastructure cost is actually quite more expensive than our current solution providers.
Yeah, buying that whole satellite thing here, it's actually quite expensive.
And if ICASA, maybe that regulatory body, relaxes laws for Starlink, they need to do it for any other provider
They're
as
going to
well.
open up to legal.
You get what I'm saying? It's going to be a 10-year, 20-year
Yeah, but
contract.
it's a directive to already start the process, right? So the directive was to ICASA to look at the laws, Zabi, and how they're affecting the certain sector. I learned this week, Kore, there are certain sectors that we have relaxed BE laws, most notably the motor industry.
Way before this.
Yeah, way before this. The motor industry companies, they don't need 30%, or they don't operate with the same. So we want to sort of like count them the same thing.
Okay.
Mara, it is being prompted because of.
Catch the rest of this episode on Patreon.
The Dojo.